Breathe firstly, guys. Today you wake up to the sound of a car alarm and the neighbor's dog singing backup vocals. Your phone's already flashing 6 notifications, none of which are life-changing, but all demanding. You reach for it instinctively, thumb scrolling before your brain catches up. Somewhere between an ad for foldable bathtubs and a photo of your coworker's smoothie, you pause. You feel scattered, fractured, like your mind has become a public bus. Everyone's talking, no one's driving. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and let me know, what does your morning usually feel like? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You stumble into the kitchen, still groggy. The kettle whistles like it's trying to win a talent show. As you make your tea, your hand starts shaking slightly, not from fear, but from too much everything. Too much speed, too much input, too much trying to keep up. You sit down, close your eyes, not to meditate, just to survive the morning. That's when something odd happens. You notice your breath. It's not deep, not relaxed. You're barely breathing. No wonder your head feels like a newsfeed. That's when you remember a line you once heard from a Buddhist monk on a podcast. The breath is the only place your life is actually happening. That sentence hits different today. Curious, you search breathing like a Buddhist right after checking if that one email came in. Yes, we see you. You find a simple practice used in Anapanasati, a Buddhist breathing technique from ancient texts. The name literally means mindfulness of breathing. Sounds fancy, but really it's just this. Inhale, oh, I'm breathing in. Exhale, I know I'm breathing out. That's it. That's the practice. No apps, no gongs, no Himalayan salt lamps, just knowing that you're breathing. You try it, one breath, then another. Your shoulders drop. The buzzing in your head fades by half. It feels suspiciously effective. Later that day, while pretending to listen on a Zoom call, you look up more about this habit. Turns out, Chent A. Chen, the Vietnamese Zen master, used this exact phrase to guide thousands. He believed that the breath was the bridge between body and mind. Without it, the two get divorced and start dating chaos. You find out something weird. In Japanese Zen monasteries, novices are trained to breathe with their whole body, not just lungs. They say the breath starts in your belly and expands like a ripple. If that sounds mystical, just try it. You'll see. And here's a fun fact. In Thailand's forest monasteries, monks start their day at 3:30 a.m. not to check email, but to breathe while walking barefoot in the jungle. Imagine that. Your alarm rings, and instead of doom scrolling, you're barefoot with the birds. Wild, right? You start practicing the breath every morning. Just 3 minutes. No pressure, no enlightenment goals. Just you and the inhale. Soon you notice changes. Your mind still races, but you can hear it now. Like sitting at a train station instead of running alongside the train. Your emotions still come, but they don't run the whole show. And oddly enough, time starts stretching. 2 minutes of breathing feels richer than 20 minutes of scrolling. Go figure. One morning, while walking to the store, you stop. There's no emergency. You just stop and breathe. You realize something big. You've been living most of your life outside your breath, running from one place to the next, one deadline to another, one distraction to the next dopamine hit. Like breath was optional, like stillness was a luxury. But here's the thing, in Buddhist thought, breath is not a tool, it's a home. And if you don't live there, your mind just wanders into strangers' houses. So you wonder, is it possible that most of our anxiety comes from forgetting to return home to the breath? It's not a metaphor anymore, it's literal. You forget to breathe. You forget to exist where you are. You laugh lightly because who knew air was this important? You also accidentally start annoying your friends. They're venting about work and you say, have you tried breathing through your feelings? Cue the eye rolls. But secretly, some of them try it. And when they do, they text you things like, wait, this actually helps. Or, I just cried during a 3-minute breath session, what is this sorcery? You smile, not because you're suddenly enlightened, but because you're starting to feel like you're home in your own body. A week later, something unexpected happens. You're on the subway. It's crowded, hot. Someone's playing reggaeton on full volume, and you're late. Old you would be spiraling, but instead, you breathe. You don't escape the moment you enter it. And somehow, this chaos feels okay, like you're not drowning in it. You're floating on top. It's the breath. It's the oldest trick in the Buddhist book, and somehow it works in the middle of a broken city just as well as in a monastery. Your phone buzzes. Life keeps happening, but now, so do you. Right here, in this breath, in this body, in this moment. And speaking of bodies, remember that monk in the forest who eats in silence? Next episode, we're sitting down with him, okay, figuratively, and discovering why how you eat may matter more than what you eat. Spoiler, it involves no forks and no Instagram stories. Eat like a Buddha. You're sitting at your desk with a plastic container of rice and tofu, half watching a video essay on productivity hacks that ruin my life, and scrolling Twitter with your other hand. You take 3 bites, don't remember any of them, and next thing you know, the container's empty. You didn't eat lunch. You just deleted it. Later, you wonder, did the food even taste good? Did your body even register it? That's when your mind drifts back to a strange line you once heard. Chew your food like you're praying with your mouth. Kind of dramatic, but now it clicks. You're not eating. You're consuming, reacting, shoveling, feeding a hunger that has nothing to do with hunger. So naturally, you Google, how do Buddhists eat? You stumble upon a 2-minute video of a Theravada monk eating a bowl of rice. No words, no music, no forks, just a spoon, a bowl, and complete silence. It's oddly captivating. He chews slowly. He bows before and after. He looks at each bite like it's the only one he'll ever get. No multitasking, no seasoning, no entertainment. And somehow, it feels more nourishing than your whole fridge. Later, you read about oryoki, the Zen Buddhist eating ritual. Oryoki literally means just enough. In some Japanese monasteries, monks eat 3 times a day using a set of nested black bowls, each move precise, quiet, and intentional. Before eating, they chant a reminder, I accept this food to sustain my practice, and to end all suffering. No pressure, but the idea is powerful. Food isn't fuel. It's part of the practice. It's how you relate to life. So you try it. No YouTube, no music, no memes. Just you, bowl of rice, and your extremely loud thoughts. You take a bite. Your mind screams, this is boring. You take another. Your stomach, are we dying? Why is this so quiet? You keep going, and somewhere around bite 6, something shifts. The flavor shows up, the heat, the texture, the feeling of nourishment. Your jaw slows down, your shoulders drop, your stomach, weirdly, feels safe. And you realize something no wellness guru told you. Mindful eating isn't about food. It's about how you pay attention to anything. You think back to Chant Hn, he's showing up a lot lately. He once said, when you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. Don't eat and walk. Sound obvious? You remember that time you ate a croissant while crossing an intersection, responding to a text, and dodging a pigeon. You weren't present. You were a browser with 23 tabs open, 12 of them frozen. You keep the practice going for a few days. Each meal becomes less of a race and more of a ritual. No one's around to judge you. No monk appears to give you a gold star. But you start to feel fuller, even when eating less. You remember reading that Buddhist monks stop eating afternoon to punish themselves, but to give the body time to digest and the mind a chance to focus. Could you do that? You try it for a day. You skip dinner, not out of guilt, but as an experiment. That night, you feel lighter, clearer. There's no food coma pulling your soul downward. No snack shame haunting you at 11:45 p.m. And that old hunger, the one that's not about food, quietly wanders away, confused. There's one more thing. You read about alms round, the ancient tradition where monks walk barefoot at dawn through villages, receiving food from lay people. They don't ask. They don't shop. They don't hoard. They accept what's offered. No more, no less. The radical idea? Trust the world to feed you just enough. It stirs something deep in your world. Food is choice, power, indulgence, guilt. In theirs, it's gratitude, stillness, enoughness. And what if that's what you're really hungry for? Not snacks, not speed, just a moment where your body says, thank you, and your mind says, I'm here. By now, you've learned how to eat with more presence. But what about moving? Because there's another Buddhist habit that flips everything you thought about walking upside down. Next time, we're going nowhere on purpose. Yes, seriously? Walk without a goalie. We're out for a walk. Earbuds in, podcast playing, dodging scooters and pigeons. You've got exactly 17 minutes before your next call. So you walk like you're on a mission, even if the mission is just to close your Apple Watch ring. Then, like a glitch in the Matrix, you see him. An old man in robes. Maybe a monk. Maybe just an unusually calm tourist. He's walking, slowly, deliberately, as if each step is a word in a poem he doesn't want to finish too soon. He's not lost. He's not rushing. He's just walking. And suddenly, your own movement feels like a parody of motion. You're going fast, but where and why? So you take out your earbuds, and you slow down. Later that night, you look it up. Turns out, there's a name for what you saw. Kinhin walking meditation, practiced in many Buddhist traditions. In Zen Buddhism, monks walk in a circle between long sitting periods, not to exercise, but to keep mindfulness moving. Literally, one foot lifts, the other follows. Heel, ball, toe, breathe, step, repeat. It's the opposite of your usual pace, which is somewhere between mild panic and just spilled coffee. You read that chant HN yes, him again called it, kiss the earth with your feet. Sounds romantic or hippie, but you kind of get it now. You try it. At first, it's awkward. You keep looking around to make sure no one's watching. Your feet feel like giant clumsy animals. Your brain screams, we should be burning calories, not wasting time. But then, something shifts. The sidewalk becomes visible. You hear your breath. You feel the wind on your arms, the way your heel rolls into the ground. For the first time in forever, you're not trying to get anywhere, and it's weirdly liberating. In one of his talks, a Zen teacher named Shunryu Suzuki said, the point of spiritual practice is not to improve yourself. It's to realize you're already okay. That hits hard while walking in silence. You're so used to walking towards something, goals, deadlines, better versions of yourself. You never considered walking with yourself. And here's something unexpected. In Theravada forest monasteries, monks walk back and forth in the same straight line every day, maybe 10 steps forward, 10 steps back for hours. They're not lost. They're arriving over and over again. What if arriving isn't about destination, but attention? You start walking this way every morning, just 10 minutes. No playlist, no rush. You walk slowly around the block while your neighbors speed walk with strollers, AirPods, and side eyes. You feel like the village weirdo, until one morning, a woman stops you and asks, what are you doing? Are you okay? You smile. Just walking. She laughs, but also pauses, as if the idea is so foreign, it might be worth considering. You wonder, when did walking become a means to escape the body instead of re-entering it? Why does stillness make us anxious, but burnout makes us proud? One day, during a slow walk in the park, a kid runs past you laughing, spinning, with no clear destination. He's not walking for cardio. He's not trying to clear his head. He's just being here. Suddenly it clicks. Maybe monks walk like children not because they're childish, but because they remember presence doesn't have to be earned. It can be practiced. You find out that in many Buddhist cultures, walking isn't separate from meditation, it's part of it. There's no hierarchy. Whether you're sitting, standing, walking, or lying down, the mind can be still. You're not doing it to be enlightened. You're doing it because your body is already the bell that rings you back to now. So now, your legs know something your phone doesn't. There is no urgency. The ground is not a racetrack. The sky is not late. And you're allowed to arrive slowly. But walking this way has side effects. you start noticing other things that feel frantic, rigid, forced, like how tightly you plan your day, how much you need to know, how little room you leave for the unknown. So in the next episode, we go deeper into that. Because if walking without a goal is freeing, what happens when you stop trying to be right? Unlearn everything you know you've always thought knowledge was the goal. Learn more, know more, master more. Stack books like weapons. Read the footnotes. Quote philosophers at dinner parties. You liked being the smart one. Well, one day, you meet someone who knows nothing. You're sitting on a weathered bench outside a small Buddhist center, sipping lukewarm green tea, when an elderly monk sits next to you. He smiles like he knows a joke the world forgot. You ask him a casual question. What's the purpose of meditation? He tilts his head, shrugs, sips his tea, and says, I don't know. You blink. Wait, is this a test? You press on, but surely you must have some idea. He smiles again. If I thought I knew, I wouldn't still be practicing. Well, damn. Back home, that sentence loops in your brain like a cone. If I thought I knew, I wouldn't still be practicing. You realize you've spent most of your life trying to arrive at certainty, to have answers, to be done. But in Buddhism, not knowing isn't ignorance. It's a doorway. In Zen, they call it beginner's mind, shoshin. Approaching each moment, not with the arrogance of mastery, but the curiosity of someone seeing it for the first time. You start noticing how much energy you spend pretending you know what you're doing. At work, in conversations, even with yourself. It's exhausting. You dig deeper. In Madhyamaka philosophy, a school of Mahayana Buddhism, teachers like N.G. Runa argued that even our most cherished concepts, time, self, logic, are empty of inherent existence. Not fake, just dependent, interwoven, impermanent. In other words, everything you think you know is more fragile than it looks. This isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to liberate you. What if not knowing isn't a flaw, but a kind of sacred space? You try living that way for a week. When a friend asks your opinion on a complicated topic, you say, honestly, I'm not sure. They pause, then nod, relieved. When you're asked what you'll be doing in 5 years, you say, hopefully still figuring things out. When you get into an argument, instead of doubling down, you ask, what if I'm wrong? Each time, it feels like you're removing a heavy costume, the costume of the one who knows. And underneath it, you, the actual you, soft edges, curious eyes, breathing. One night, you reread a passage by Korean Zen master Seung San. Only don't know. That is the most important thing. It sounds terrifying, and also thrilling. You look around your room. Everything you own is a product of choices made by someone who thought they knew what they wanted. But what if, just for one night, you let all those choices go? You turn off the lights. You sit. You breathe. You imagine being a blank page, not because you're empty, but because you're ready. You realize something wild. Not knowing isn't silence. It's listening. It's not giving up. It's giving space. And suddenly, all those things you were trying to solve, the future, the career path, the spiritual meaning of leftover Thai food, they don't go away, but they lose their sharpness, their urgency. And in that space, you hear something else, the soft hum of a fan, the thump of your heartbeat, the fact that you're still here, without needing to explain yourself. So you wonder, can curiosity survive in a world obsessed with certainty? Can you live in a question instead of rushing to a conclusion? Maybe that's what Buddhism invites you to do, not to answer life, but to live inside its mystery gently. And the funny part, the more you allow yourself to not know, the more grounded you feel. You're no longer trying to control reality with knowledge. You're letting it speak to you. And maybe, in the end, that's real intelligence. Not facts, but freedom. Stillness grows in the unknowing, and the quieter your mind becomes, the more it listens for something deeper. Which brings us to the final episode, the one that holds it all together. Silence, but not the awkward kind, the kind that heals. Silence is a superpower. You don't notice it at first. The silence, because your world is filled with sound, notifications, podcasts, elevator music, Conversations half heard in cafes. Your own thoughts, louder than you'd like to admit. But then one day, you really pause and realize something's missing. Or maybe, something's finally here. It starts innocently enough. You decide to turn your phone off for a few hours. Just to see. You sit on your balcony. You stare at a tree. Nothing profound happens. And yet, it feels like the world is breathing again. The leaves sway like they're in on some ancient rhythm. The wind brushes your face like it remembers you. And for once, no one is asking anything of you. Not even you. It's unsettling at first, like stepping into a vast, unfamiliar cave. But then, that cave starts to echo. In Buddhism, silence isn't a void. It's presence without interruption, a language that speaks without words. You think of the Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree, not explaining, not justifying, not tweeting his enlightenment, just being. And suddenly, you understand why so many monasteries emphasize noble silence, not just as a rule, but as a teacher. Because silence teaches what words never could, that your deepest wisdom doesn't shout, it waits. You begin experimenting. You stop filling space with and yeah, totally s. You let conversations breathe. You pause before responding, not dramatically, just gently. People lean in more. They feel heard. Maybe for the first time, you discover that silence isn't the absence of connection. It's the foundation of it. Then one day, you hear about a Buddhist forest monastery that offers a 10-day silent retreat. 10 days. No talking, no phones, no writing, just you, your breath, and whatever monsters live in your head. So, naturally, you go. Day 1, you panic. Your thoughts feel like a nightclub at 2 am, loud, chaotic, slightly embarrassing. Day 3, you start noticing things. The way sunlight spills on the floor, the subtle clink of a spoon at lunch, the tension in your shoulders, softening. Day 7, something shifts. Your mind stops sprinting. You stop arguing with reality. And then, stillness. Not boredom, not numbness. Stillness. Like your soul just exhaled for the first time. In that silence, old patterns dissolve. You stop replaying conversations from 3 years ago. You stop planning 30 versions of the future. You're just here, and you realize something wild. You've never really heard your own life before. The bird song, your footsteps, even your breath, it sounds different when it's not competing with thought. On the last day, you're allowed to speak again, but you don't want to. Not yet, because somewhere along the way, you stopped needing to explain yourself. You started to understand yourself without language. And that kind of knowing, it's quiet, it's deep, it's yours. Back in the city, the world is loud again. But something's different now. Silence follows you like a soft robe, a cloak you can put on anytime. You realize you don't have to react to everything. You don't have to fill every silence. You don't have to perform being okay. You can just be. So, at the end of all this, 7 habits later, hundreds of thoughts soften. What are you left with? Not perfection, not enlightenment, but something even better, peace in the pause. Now, let's slow things down. Feel the chair beneath you. Take a deep breath. Let it out longer than you usually do. You don't have to figure anything out tonight. You don't have to fix anything. You're already doing more than enough just by being here. So here's your final invitation. Let the silence follow you into sleep. Let it hold you like a prayer without words. Let it whisper, you're okay. Even when you don't know what's next. You're whole. Even when you feel undone. You're loved. Even when it's quiet. Now, close your eyes. Dim the lights. Let the hum of the fan guide you. And rest. We'll be here, in the stillness. Always.